Hey you guys, and welcome back to another Kimball's Corner. Today is Inktober 2019, day 31! You guys, I can't believe we did it. Today's word is ripe, and my first thought was to draw someone farting and having a ripe smell. That's not gonna happen. I think we're gonna do things a little differently, and I'm going to talk and tell you some scary stories from my childhood. And yeah, this will mostly be in real time. It's a chill little moment that we're gonna all have together. It's gonna be great. What else? I don't know. I guess I'll just get started. Usually my drawing pieces take about 25 to 30 minutes. This might take a little longer just because I'm gonna be chatting. Got my coffee. I would show you the cup, but it's My Little Pony cup. Drew it myself. They're My Little Ponies as X-Men characters. Gonna use my Mermaid Markers, my Jane Davenport finishing line pens, and we're just gonna do this. So the first story I have to tell you, I was, oh geez, how old was I? I don't know, I was a little kid. Whatever, I have 3 stories. They kind of vary in scariness. The first one I will chalk up to a fever dream, I guess you could say. That's what I like to say, because who wants to think of the alternative? Basically, when I was a kid, my parents have a 2-story home, and I was sleeping in the downstairs, and I had a fever, and I was lying in bed, and I looked over and saw like a figure sitting in my windowsill. And it's late at night. I'm probably like 10 or so, and just, mind my own business. And I see the figure there, and they're sitting in profile with their knees up, and their arms are kind of like stretched out on their knees. And I just kind of stare at it for a little bit, and I'm like, oh, hell no. And I just kind of roll over, close my eyes, and I'm like, it disappeared. It was gone. And I was like, okay, that was really spooky. Maybe I was dreaming. I do have a fever. Maybe something weird. I don't know. All sorts of excuses that one can make if they don't want to believe what they just saw. But as I was lying there, you know how, like, when somebody sits on the bed next to you, you can kind of feel it? Yeah, so I felt that. And I was just like, what is happening? Dare I turn and look? So I dared. And I looked, and there was a figure lying next to me in the bed. I can't explain it. I don't know what it was. It was a thin figure of a person, is what it was. That's all I remember. And instead of doing the logical thing of running upstairs and being like, Mom, Dad, there's some horrific monster in my bed, I just stared at the stairs. Like I was looking at him, and then I turned and I looked out my door at the stairs, and I was like, I could just run upstairs right now. And I didn't, but whatever. Yeah, so that was the first instance that I had. And, he disappeared. He faded away. Or I fell asleep, I don't remember. But that was the first touch of spookiness as a kid. This looks really awkward right now. I'm hoping I can fix it with color. I have a hard time drawing and talking, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, story 1 done. Intro to Kimball's terrifying moments in childhood. So now we move on to story 2. Also, I will be cutting out if I use the hairdryer. I'll just kind of skip through that because who wants to hear that? All right, so story number 2. It all began. No, I was still a kid, and it was, oh man, I was probably 11 or 12. And in my parents, like if you go out to the garage, you can go up into the attic, and then there's like a space that just goes across the top of the house. But there's like, if you don't step on the 2x4s, you're gonna fall through the floor. And well, I mean, and you'd fall through the ceiling, basically, of the house and end up in the kitchen or something. So we're up in this space because, you know, we're smart kids. And I was like, my friend Terry was with me, and I was like, Terry, let's go to the end and see what's on the other side, because there's like a little vent down there, like you could see out the other side of the house. And I was like, let's go check that out and see what it is. And he's like, sure, why not? So in the attic, we kind of made it like a fort. So we walked through the little, there's like a cutout basically, and we walk through that, and we walk all the way to the other side, and I'm just like, oh, it's so cool, like it looks so high up, because we're looking at like this little vent, like outside, like the vent that goes to the outside of the house, so it can vent to the attic. And I'm like, Terry, look how cool it is. And he's like, I'm like, what? And I hear it's like, I don't know, some weird, loud whispering. It kind of reminded me of when you watch the show Lost, and you hear like that spooky whispering. Kind of had that vibe happening. So I'm like, Terry, what are you saying? And he's all, what? And I turn around, he is on the other side. He didn't even come with me. He's like on the other side of the house. And something was whispering to me in the dark. So I hauled my butt out of there so fast. Like, I was so terrified. And I was like, Terry, there's someone or something in there. So yeah, that was the second story. Not as spooky, but I was terrified because I was a kid in a dark space with someone or something talking to me. All right, here comes this. All right, the grapes didn't need to dry that much. I'm gonna work on those a little more later. All right, so the third and scariest story, because, you know, the first one, I can chalk it up to I was having a fever dream. The second one, overactive imagination, you know, in a scary spot, new place, whatever you want to say. I can make up excuses for anything if it's going to make it less scary. So this third one involves multiple people, so I can't explain it. All right, I'm just gonna tell the story. So once again, Terry, my childhood best friend, and I were at my house, and my parents were going to go to the grocery store. And we're like, that's awesome. And this will age me a little bit, well, date me. But the internet was somewhat of a new concept in the homes. So as my parents left, Terry and I were like, oh, let's get on the computer and educate ourselves. So as soon as we saw my parents drive away, we ran downstairs. And in my parents' downstairs, it used to be one gigantic room. They built a wall to make an office, but at the time it was one huge room, and there was like a giant filing cabinet to kind of separate it, and my dad's computer and desk and whatnot was on the other side of that cabinet. So we run downstairs, we turn the corner, and the light is on, and we hear like the clickety-clacking of a typewriter, or a keyboard typewriter. I'm old. So we're like, oh, okay, that's spooky. Nobody's supposed to be here. So we're kind of a little panicky, just a little bit. And we're kind of like, what the hell do we do? So we run upstairs, and I'm just like, Terry, nobody's supposed to be here. What do we do? We go outside, and being the little Mormon boys that we were, we just pray. We're like, please God, what is going on in there? Someone spooky's in my house, get him out. And just then my neighbor pulled up. And her name was Mrs. Reitz. I was very happy to see her. And I run over and I'm like, Mrs. Reitz, my parents just left. Somebody's down in my dad's office. I don't know what's going on. Can you please go in and check it out? And she's like, sure, I'll risk my life. Why not? Because, like, seriously, if somebody told me there was a stranger in someone's house, I'm not going in there. So she goes in, and Terry and I are at the bottom of the stairs, peeking around the corner into the giant room, and we see her walk back there, and she starts talking to somebody. And they have a full-on conversation, and after like 10 seconds, she like smiles and starts turning around, and Terry and I run upstairs, and we're just like, oh my God, what the hell just happened? So she comes upstairs, and she's like, you guys, it's fine, it's your dad. He's just working on, I think he was working on a thing for church. Something, I don't know. So Terry and I are like, we are idiots. Like that, how stupid can we be? That's so funny, blah, blah, blah. Ridiculous, can't wait to tell mom when she gets home. So my mom gets home. I put one of these in the wrong spot, I think. We're just gonna, oh God, which one was it? Were you guys paying attention? Was it this one? I think it goes here. Anyway, so we see my mom's car pulling up. So we run out to the garage. And the garage door opens, the car pulls in, and my dad is driving the car, and my mom is in the passenger seat. Terry and I lose our minds. We're like, what is happening? Who are you? How does this even make any sense? So we tell them the story, and they're just like, oh, you guys are funny. Your imaginations are crazy. I can't explain it. To this day, Terry and I can't explain it. No idea what happened. So, I'm gonna kind of shut up now and start focusing on art. Yeah. Spooky stories. Good times. I need my paintbrush, my trusty paintbrush that I've had for so long. That's one thing I love about the Mermaid Markers, is they are incredibly water reactive. Sorry, the hubby is writing. All right, let's add a little more interest to those grapes. They're grapes. Just add a little texture, I don't know. Sorry if you can hear the jackhammering happening in the street. But you know, gotta fix those, I don't know, whatever they're fixing. Those things that need fixing, okay? She might be ready for some inking after I dry her. I do want to add a little more shading just to the side of the face, and I do love purple for shading. And she'll have a nice pinkish tongue. All right. Just gonna merge this. Just to fuzzy the lines a little. All right, one more good thorough drawing so I can do inks on top. All right, I'm debating if I want to use this brush pen or if I want to use this brush pen. I've kind of overused this one. I think I'm kind of killing it pretty quickly because it's more so for like details, but I use it for full-on illustrations because I love it so much. But maybe today I will try this one and see if I like it. Let's give it a go. And it's not as black, because I love like the black richness of the License to Quill pen. But this one is a little more subtle, but it still works. Yeah. And I do like a nice sketchy look to my work, if you haven't noticed. Someone is really enjoying those grapes. It's always good to try and do line work when you've had like 4 cups of coffee. Maybe that's why I like sketchiness in my work, because my hands are so shaky. When it comes to teeth, I usually just draw the outline of them. Sometimes you can draw like a little gum line to kind of show them more, but I don't know. Even that looks weird now. Girl, you got teeth. I didn't really give her any hair, did I? Might add some here in a second. liking the idea of the roundness of the grapes. If it's all suggestive, then, you know, other people, when they look at it, will go, oh yes, I see that. You just gotta suggest it, and then the brain makes up the rest of it. All right, let's, what color of hair? Oh, I wish, maybe I'll do a live thing and you guys can tell me what colors to do stuff. Because I never know. I just pick the pretty colors and go with it. Should I have her hair coming in like swoosh? That was a yes, by the way. Her hair should come in and go swoosh. Anyway, I could do like a live YouTube thing. Once I figure out how to, like, I can do a live one, but then I can't like read comments as it's happening. I don't know how that works. You know, maybe someday I'll figure it out. Until then, I don't know. I don't know how people function, really. I don't know how I function. Also, I don't know how people draw and talk at the same time, because apparently that is a skill I have yet to master. Just some hints of hair coming from the other side of her neck. What else? Maybe I can get, excuse me, paper towel roll. I know these technically aren't ink, but they're inky-like. Just add a couple of, ooh, that's wet. Don't touch that. I don't know why, but I love white freckles, especially on, you know, pink and purple skin. Maybe a little highlight on the teeth. A little highlight on the upper lip. A little highlight on the lower lip. A little highlight on the nose. Okay. Actually, the thing about Mermaid Markers, since they are so water reactive, like, this paint will be picking up that color, and a lot of times the white will kind of just be a lighter shade of whatever color I put on it, or I'm putting over it. I can talk. I learned how when I was little. All right. I think she might be done. That was another fun one. I'm just gonna give it a quick dry and then we'll go to the end screen. All right, you guys, I guess that is it. Inktober 2019 is officially done. And we gotta finish it off with some young lady eating some ripe grapes. How delicious for her. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Inktober was crazy, fun challenge. I'm no stranger to monthly challenges, but my goodness, when it comes to filming a video a day, that is a challenge in itself. And yeah, I'm glad it's over, but you know, I'm kinda gonna miss it. We'll still have Fridays. We'll always have Fridays. And my non-Friday videos whenever I feel like uploading those. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me for Inktober. This is it. This is the end. This is the farewell to Inktober 2019. Take care, and you know what? I think I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, you guys.